Hey guys, once again, Reinforcer Radio on the air. My name is Jeff Lawhorne, and the guy flexing to my right, you already know who he is, the Reinforcer, Andrew Anderson. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good, Jeff. How are you?
I am good. I'm good. Really, really happy with how the first show turned out for us.
We had a great we had a lot of movement. Let me put it this way on the what would it call the
Some of the podcast
formats and stuff that we're up to like 79 out of 250.
Yep, and that's unfortunately changing every day. So if we're not getting those clicks and those downloads, we kind of fluctuate up and down on the list. But we really appreciate you guys checking us out last week, and we hope that we can bring something good this week once again, and we'll see what we got. All right. So I want to address something right off the bat. Last week, actually 2 weeks ago, when we were on the air, we talked about your retirement. And I think some people may have gotten the wrong impression on how that was said and how that whole thing went down. Can you just take a moment and clarify what this 2025 wrestling year is looking like for the Reinforcer and how things are going to go from here on out for you?
Well, I'm pretty much booked up solid right now for the next few months with active wrestling as well as appearances. And I intend to keep active wrestling. I'm not retiring in full. When the time comes, I was speaking of, when the time comes that I can no longer give it 150% or even 110%, I will hang up the boots. Now, is it coming soon? A lot sooner than later, that's for sure. And for the people who think that I meant that I was retiring now because I couldn't give it 110%, that is not happening. That is not in the foreseeable future. Let me put it this way. It's not in the next 8 to 10 months. Might not even be this next year. But 2025 will be my last full-time year of week-to-week competition. That I can say.
I got what you're saying. That so you're not saying you're going away. You were saying that you may not be hitting the ring every weekend, going after 2025, that, you're going to have to slow down a little bit at some point. And this year you're hitting hard. Your 2025 is going to be the year of the Reinforcer.
Yes, 100%, man. I'm going out there, fists of fury, balls of fire, balls to the wall, and balls across the nose. That's what I'm doing, baby. This is it. We're gonna wrap it up, but we're not calling it quits 100%. Even in 2026, if I'm able to do the occasional one-off here and there, a tag team match here and there, an appearance, I'll still do it if the money's right. But I'm not just going to say 100% I'm done, I'm out. I'm not going to be one of those guys, because when I'm done, I'm going to be done. I'm not going to do a Terry Funk, who I love dearly and everything. And, he constantly, Roddy Piper and guys like that would just come out of the woodwork and do stuff like that. I mean, I'm not comparing myself to them, but, it's just that it's been tough, me and Karen want to enjoy life after wrestling, we want to do stuff outside of wrestling. We don't want to keep, booking trips and then having to cancel them because we have a wrestling show coming up, So, and, it's gonna be definitely my last full-time year.
So unfortunately, Mr. Koloff, you're still going to deal with this guy. You're still going down, still bringing the title back to Pennsylvania.
Oh, you know what? I don't care about your title, Vladimir Koloff. When I come to Morgan City, Louisiana, you see, I'm coming there for one reason. I'm not coming there to prove a point. I'm coming there to see what you got. Mustang made the call. Mike Beadle, my friend, my brother, my tag team partner in Mean and Lean, he called me up. He said, I got a problem down here. Some Russian kid with a mask. And now I wrestled this guy in the tag team match before. He's no slouch. But you know what? I have nothing to prove. I had all the belts I needed. I've won all the titles. Now I'm here for one reason, to shut your mouth. Shut your mouth once and for all. You see, you made a mistake. You made a grave mistake. You are assuming that I'm just an old man. I'm not your ordinary old man. I may be 57 years old, but I will kick your teeth down your throat, through your mask, pull out those freaking teeth through your mask slot. or shove them out through your freaking trapdoor of your freaking tights. So cover your face up, shut your mouth, put your head between your legs, kiss your ass goodbye, because you're going to feel like you're on the end of a roller coaster, the last car by your freaking finger, holding on for dear life. You think you're going to die, but you don't.
And listen, we're going to talk a little bit more about this, as the show goes on here. But what is with the mask? I mean, is this guy a luchador? Is he a Russian? What is he just confused?
He's a lucha Putin. I don't know. Let's call him Lucha Putin. How's that? All right? Because he's definitely not a Vladimir, I don't know. Was there a Vladimir Koloff before him?
I'm pretty sure there was a Vladimir Koloff. It was kind of funny because when I saw the advertisement, I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't look like Vladimir Koloff that I remember. But
no.
I don't know.
I know there was Nikolai. There was obviously Ivan.
There was Nikita.
Nikolai Volkov, Ivan Koloff, Nikita Koloff, Crusher Khrushchev, manager Nikita Brezhnikov. You had the Russian assassins. Maybe he's one of the Russian assassins, kids.
Hey, you never know. He could be one of those guys. We'll see. Maybe a little bit of the old Siberian tigers will come out on his ass.
Maybe I might have to pull off his mask and expose to the people of Louisiana that he's actually not Russian, but a pimply-faced Chinaman. Is that okay to say?
All right. I mean,
Mexican?
maybe. There you go. He's because he thinks he's a luchador.
He thinks he's a luchador. Maybe he's Mexican.
All right. It's all in good fun, guys. Andrew does have that match coming up. When we release this, he may have already had the match. So we'll make sure we post up on our Facebook page and our YouTube page.
February 15th.
Some of them highlights that he has for that whole thing. And we'll definitely post the pictures of him with that new strap that he's bringing back to Philadelphia. Because, Philadelphia right now is the land of champions.
We're hot right now. We're cooking.
All right.
Cooking.
That's the only thing I'll say because Miss Karen is in the room and I don't want to bust too much.
Don't poke the bear.
But listen.
Don't
Philadelphia Eagles,
the bear.
If you guys listen to this, Saquon Barkley, awesome fucking job. Philadelphia, all the way.
Jalen Hurts, the whole crew.
Absolutely, guys. You did awesome, and thank you for taking another 2 years off of my life. Watching football for another season. The Philadelphia Eagles are always good for that.
You know what I got to say, though? You know what's pretty funny? They cheered Trump and booed Taylor Swift.
Listen, there was a lot of Philadelphians. You saw a lot of green in that crowd that night.
Yep.
And I was actually kind of surprised when they all came on the field. I couldn't believe how many boos I heard when Kansas City themselves came on the field.
I was shocked. I thought usually the Super Bowl has a 50-50 mix. What did everybody from Philly just buy tickets to the Super Bowl? I mean, that was pretty crazy. Bradley Cooper was there.
Of course, Bradley Cooper, he's a huge Philadelphia Eagles fan. He's always expressing how much he loves the Birds. And again, thank you guys for an awesome freaking season.
Listen, the Chiefs, Kansas City, Detroit, all the NFL teams, they did an outstanding job. So everyone that was in the playoffs, they were phenomenal. It was a great year to be a football fan.
It was a great year to be a football fan. It's also a great year to be a coffee fan. And we got to thank our sponsors here, Janus Coffee Roasters, our friends out of Wyoming. Janus Coffee Roasters is an artisan coffee roasting company that strives to provide customers with the freshest coffee possible. How, you ask? Well, they roast to order. They roast each order as it comes in and ships the day after roasting. Take a look around their website, januscoffeeroasters.com. There's some amazing blends and single origins that they offer as well. And you can see right here, they've got the Reinforcer Andrew Anderson coffee. We'll make sure we put that up on our Facebook page. Thank you again, Janus Coffee. We really, really appreciate you supporting the channel, supporting the podcast. We couldn't do it without you guys. So please, guys, go over and check out Janus Coffee Roasters.
Shad Bates, you did an outstanding job with the Reinforcer.
I tried it. Absolutely delicious. It's bold, just like this guy. And it's got amazing flavor. My wife is a coffee connoisseur, and she absolutely loved it. She was raving about it. In fact, I think she'll probably shake down Andrew for a few more bags of it going forward because, you just give her what she wants. It's so much easier that way. All right, man. Well, let's talk about more stuff you got going on, right?
Oh,
So you've got Gulf State Wrestling that
yep,
is coming up February 15th, right?
yep,
Vladimir Koloff,
yep. And that's at the Morgan City High School
the Morgan City High School,
in
and
Louisiana.
that's put on by Gulf State.
Go State Wrestling.
Mustang Mike and the boys down there. They're doing an awesome job, really putting on some killer freaking shows down there, bringing in some big names like, my boy over here, Mr. Anderson.
Yep.
What else you got going on?
Well, yeah, the SICW Southern Illinois Championship Wrestling Fan Fest 3, and it's going to be in at the Hilton on May 16th and 17th, and it's going to be really, really a great experience. I mean, you have some of the great talent from SICW. Herb Simmons is the promoter. You're going to have Haku, Cowboy Bob Orton, a lot of stars of SICW like Attila Khan, who's a staple over there, and he's the madman from the new madman from the Sudan. You got some great athletes over there that are going to be competing on the show in the Battle Royal over there, and I'll be there signing autographs, and hopefully maybe I'll have a match. I don't know yet, but we'll see what happens. That's in May.
Speaking of the madman from Sudan, we did have a comment on the Facebook page from Mr. Abdullah the Butcher. We really appreciate Abdullah reaching out, giving a little love to the reinforcer over here. So Abdullah, thank you so much for checking us out, for giving us some love on the Facebook page. Always appreciate it, man.
Yeah, Abby's a really good friend, and he's also a big supporter of the lovely Miss Karen. So,
oh, I'm sure. He definitely was always appreciative of the beautiful young women, and Miss Karen definitely fits in the beautiful category. So, it's not surprising one bit. All right. Well, I also hear you're going to be, I think, West Virginia coming up in March.
Yep, United States Wrestling. I'm wrestling against the champion Barry Hardy on March 29th. So that's in I think it's Elmore, Virginia, West Virginia. Elmore, West Virginia. I'm not sure.
I've got the ad up here. Elmore, West Virginia.
Yep, that's going to be a pretty good show. It's old school wrestling at its finest, man. And Barry Hardy's no slouch. He's an amazing young talent, and I'm looking forward to taking him on for his title.
So you're telling me that you have the opportunity not just to bring home Gulf State Wrestling's World Heavyweight title, but also a one out of West Virginia as well?
Well, I don't think that Vladimir Koloff has the Gulf State Wrestling Heavyweight title. I don't know what title he has, but he has a title definitely over there. It's being defended by himself against me. The USA Pro Wrestling title, that is held by Barry Hardy for the company. Yeah.
Okay, my mistake. I thought I had seen that. I knew he had a title on, so that's what I automatically assumed. Big Dog's always going for the title.
Well, I mean, look, he's still a champion, and like I said, I've had championships. I have nothing to prove. You see, the way I look at it, it's this way: even though he's the champion, he still has to beat me.
Well, you heard it once again, Mr. Koloff. You've got to beat the reinforcer, and I'm sorry. I don't think it's going to happen, Mr. Luchador Russian guy. Andrew's coming for you. And some of these other awesome shows that you're going to be doing. And thank you to Herb. He's going to be putting an awesome con on out there and an awesome wrestling event going down. And the boys out in West Virginia. So whoever else wants to book him, hit him up. He's always taking bookings. The lovely Miss Karen is always in tow, and she's going to be coming along. And we're actually going to talk a little bit about Miss Karen.
Yeah, she's coming on in just a few minutes. I'm going to give a shameless plug to my friend Tim Moody and DJ Marcotte for the New England Fan Fest held by Joseph Bruin every year. This time it's in Massachusetts, and it's on April 5th, the New England Fan Fest. So I'm looking forward to being there. I'm there not only as a wrestler, but I'm also there as a cast member from the TV show Gotham.
Well, that is going to be really cool because that's also featuring sports and toys. And you know me with toys. I love a good toy show.
Yep. We were talking about all the 80s toys. We'll have an episode just talking about that one day. I just want to give a shout out because there's a lot of great companies out there. There's one CW in Delaware that's run by Sean Hardy and Sean Carlson. They're a top-notch company down in Delaware. They run Delaware, Pennsylvania, parts of Jersey. Phenomenal. Great guys. There's ACW that is run by James Ellsworth down in Maryland, and another great company I love working with. course, there's SICW, run by Herb Simmons, Southern Illinois Championship Wrestling. Another great company. I love working for them. And those are just a couple of the companies I really love working for. And then we're going to have a guest on in a few weeks, Matt Jarrett from World Pro Wrestling in the UK, where I will be appearing soon.
Yes,
and
there's been actually a lot of talk on the old Facebook page and Instagram asking when you're coming back to the UK and getting back out there with Matt Jarrett.
Yeah, it was a good time. I mean, Matt has a lot of Andrew Anderson stories. I have a lot of Matt Jarrett stories, and really a good time, and always a good time when I'm in the UK. Always get treated great. Fans have always been phenomenal. Last time I wrestled former NXT trainer James Mason, and we had a killer match, and at the Cheltenham Town Hall, which was phenomenal in Cheltenham, England. Just the UK is my new home away from home. Well, it's always been. I always had great stuff happen in the UK, and I'm glad to be coming back in 2025.
Do you ever plan on doing any other European countries?
Yes. We're working on it in the mix right now. So Germany and a couple other countries have, expressed interest. A couple of promotions out there, especially two of them in Germany, and one possibly in Italy. They heard a rumor that I might be coming down with Miss Karen, and they wanted to know if I was willing to come wrestle for them. So we'll see what happens.
Man, could you imagine that, guys? The Reinforcer in Italy. We'll get some good pictures there, in Italy with.
Well, I'm there. I might actually try to straighten out the Leaning Tower.
You would. I would go for that.
I would.
Well, all right, man. Let's get into the topic of the day. Let's talk managers and valets. All right. I brought up a little definition. For those of you who are not completely familiar, with the difference between a manager and a valet, according to these amazing new AI overviews that you get on Google, it says a manager is primarily responsible for strategizing and guiding a wrestler's career, often acting as a spokesperson, while a valet is typically a more visual presence at ringside, often used as a distraction or to provide support with minimal strategic involvement. All right. I mean, that it kind of makes sense.
Kind of sums it up, but kind of doesn't, because there's been, right now, I've had a lot of great managers in my career. I've had Captain Lou Albano manage me. I had Roddy Piper manage me. I've had Doug DeVito, the sports agent, manage me. I had, who else? God, the list could go on and on. But I got to tell you, I'm having so much fun with my new manager / valet, the lovely Miss Karen. Happens to be my fiancée. Yes, I know we're doing a Macho Man Elizabeth, but really not. She's actually has hands on right now and helping me keep my career in perspective and keeping myself grounded and really helping me with life in general, so to speak. So she's been a grounding force in my personal life, and best thing that ever happened to me personally. And in the business, we have a lot of fun. So she's something to look at when you're out there. So you talk about distraction. She definitely provides a distraction.
Yes, she does. She definitely improves the visual appearance of the Andrew Anderson team there.
Yep. She's definitely beauty to my beast. So, and it's just a really good combination. So she took on to the wrestling business like a horse to water. She just blew up with it from the first day. She actually trained a few sessions with Jay Lethal. I've actually seen her do high cross bodies off the top rope. So she's done a lot. She's really, really good. She went up to the East Coast Pro Wrestling Training Facility about a year ago and trained up there a little bit. And she's trained a lot with CCW and in Florida, Coastal Championship Wrestling. So she knows what she's doing. She learned from the best. And obviously she learned a lot by sitting and with Kevin Sullivan. And Kevin would talk to Karen and tell her, this is what you got to do. This is how you do it. This is what you don't do. This is what you do. And I like that you do this. I don't like you do this. So, because Kevin was also a manager and as well as being the taskmaster, the games master, the Prince of Darkness, and the Devil himself, he was also a manager. Like, he managed the varsity club. He managed Dungeon of Doom. He managed the Army of Darkness. So, I mean, he's done it all, and he helped guide her. And as he was also a influence in my career, as everyone knows, he also was the primary influence to help Karen get into the business. So,
Yeah, that's mainly how I remember Kevin in the '90s.
yeah,
He was the face of so many different groups, and so many killer groups. Varsity Club and some awesome stuff going on.
The Varsity Club doesn't get the recognition, by the way, that they deserve. Not Dr. Death, Steve Williams, Mike Rotunda, and Rick Steiner. They don't get the recognition that they did.
Yeah, they're all of them are incredibly solid singles competitors, and then you put them into a faction like that, and then have Kevin Sullivan on top of it. It was killer. But we are talking about managers. We are talking about valets. We could easily drift off on topic here and get into factions. Maybe we'll do that in next couple episodes. We'll talk factions. I'm sure you've been in a few over the years, so we'll definitely talk about that coming up.
Well, we have a commercial break right now, so in the meantime, when we come back, we're going to have the lovely Miss Karen.
There's the segue for you guys, so please stay tuned. Coming back on the other side, we are going to talk to the lovely Miss Karen. All right, guys, we are back at it again. Reinforcer Radio back on the air. And no, Andrew has not turned into a beautiful young woman. This is the valet, the manager of the Reinforcer, Andrew Anderson, the lovely Miss Karen. Karen, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you doing? Thank you for having me here.
I am good. It's so great to have you on. You've been wonderful sitting behind the scenes, watching us do this whole thing. The last 2 times, Karen is incredibly supportive of, what's going on. And you're a big influence in Andrew's life.
Yeah, apparently, huh?
He talks about you, quite often. And I would say, 85% is always completely good.
It's good that I'm a full-time therapist.
So for those of you who don't know, we'll kick that right off. She is a full-time therapist. She diagnoses Andrew and I quite often, and she doesn't get paid nearly enough to do that, but she is a full-time therapist. What's your main focus with therapy?
I'm a trauma specialist, so I do a lot of trauma, abuse. I work for the governor, so I assess sex offenders and sexually violent predators. So I'll determine if they go to jail and how long they go for.
That is some really heavy stuff, guys. I talked about on the last episode, I'm a paramedic, so I see trauma way, way too often. And, I don't ever think about the things after, I interact with these people and deal with them during that trauma, but then I never really think about all the stuff that has to go, therapy-wise after they get done with all that stuff. So that is a really awesome career.
Yeah.
But you also chose to be in the professional wrestling world.
Yeah, I never saw this coming.
So let's start at the beginning. How did you and Andrew meet?
Wow. So I was coming from a trauma training in Norway, was in Newark Airport, and I'm in the security line, and I look over and I see this really freakishly huge man. And I'm like, wow, he's really big. And we just looked at each other, kind of like doing that. I'm going through, and of course I have my backpack on me, my stuff, and I'm just kind of going to do my thing. And the people, you're going through security, and they're like, if anybody has any hardware in them, go in a certain line. I had a hip replacement. So I'm behind Kevin, his manager. And Kevin's banging on the glass because he wants to get out of there. And Drew comes over, and I'm like, I got him. And he said, I think I'm going to need a drink. And I said, I'll go with you. And we're walking and talking, and he tells me he is a wrestler, which I'm like, oh my gosh. I never did get that drink, by the way.
Oh, man.
I got coffee.
Well,
I was really thinking another drink. But anyway, we're talking, and I mean, it was like we talked as if we've known each other our whole life. I was heading back home to Costa Rica, and it was just amazing. And all I remember, and he might get embarrassed with this, but it was the best thing that I've ever heard from any person, was he's like, when are you coming back? I said, I'm coming back in November. I was going to Italy with my girlfriend. And he said, come back and we'll take you to a nice dinner. Like, okay, that sounds really beautiful. We give each other's numbers. He's like, you sure you're going to call me? You sure you're going to call me? Absolutely. As I'm getting ready to go on the airplane, he grabs my face, kisses me, and you think we would together forever. And he's kissing me, and I get on the plane, and as soon as I sat down, I get a phone call. It's him. So it was my real number and everything. And I came back earlier and been here ever since.
Okay, well, there you go, guys. See, love does happen at first sight, and you can jump right into things. So Andrew and Karen are definitely a product of that entire thing.
Absolutely.
So when did he come to you and say, I want you to start doing some manager valet work for me. I want you to get in the ring with me.
I have to be honest, I don't even really know. I just was excited to go and watch him and cheer him on. And I think just because I dress a certain way, it just seemed like as I'm following him out, I was getting heat already as I'm taking pictures. And that happened at one of the shows. I'm taking pictures, and some guy wanted to attack me because I was there taking pictures for him. So we figured, why not? So I started walking him out, and the rest is history.
Sometimes it's the most organic way, it's not planned. It just kind of happens.
Yeah.
So you expressed you were getting some pretty good heat right off the bat. So do you prefer getting the heat, or do you prefer getting the cheers? Are you all about the babyface life, or do you kind of enjoy getting the?
I like hitting people. I like hitting people. I like really irritating people. Right away, people yell and scream, and I get women that'll say, "Go put clothes on," and I'm thinking I'm going to wear less next time. Or just being able to choke somebody and hit them. Last time I took a cane in. But I did say, maybe I should be on the other side where I'm hitting him at the cane. I don't know. You never know what could happen, right?
All right. Well, you've heard it here, guys. Watch yourself, and Andrew, really watch yourself, because you may be catching a cane. I could see she's shorter, so she could hit that low blow, I'm sure, pretty expertly.
Can I? Yeah, I was going to say, can I tell you? We had a situation. I come out with a little purse, and I was going up, and of course it was a really bad week. It was a bad week because my cat of 20 years died in my son's arms. Had a really bad week. So Andrew's like, when you come up, give it everything you got. Okay, so he held the heel, and I'm ready to hit him, and I hit Andrew. And he went down. And he went down hard. And I threw my purse at the guy, and the guy's leaving, and he's like looking at me like, what is in your purse? What did you do? And I'm trying to help him up, and he's like, what did you hit me with? Had no idea until we get in the back, and in my purse was the railroad tie from Kevin. The spike, the golden spike, among other things, was in my purse. I had no idea. I really knocked him out.
Man, well, don't worry, guys. He came to. He's still here. You heard him a little bit ago. He's still running around here, and maybe she knocked a little sense into him. I mean, we all know that could be a good thing with Mr. Anderson over there. So, what do you love most about getting out there and performing in front of different size crowds? And what do you love most about professional wrestling?
Well, I will say I grew up with it. So, but when I grew up with it, it was like Saturday mornings, Bob Backlund, Chief J Strongbow, it was Ivan Putski. I grew up the old timers, so that was what was fun. So I did grow up watching it. It was happy memories with my family. But what I really love is just I can be a different person. I can go out there and be that heel and irritate people and start riots. But I also like when we're the baby face and I can get out there and there's kids coming up to you and you're just hugging them and signing and it's just fun. It's just for a little bit, leaving life a little bit is what I like, especially with the job I do. It's fun.
I'm sure it's got to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I spent years in my high school days performing on stage as a musician, which you are a musician as well.
I sing.
There's no other rush like it. I mean, you get out there and bringing that enjoyment to people there's nothing else like. There's no high like it. And I know Andrew has often wanted to talk about some of his life in the substance world and everything. Has he been clean and
yes.
pretty good? Since you guys have been together?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. That wouldn't have been tolerated on my end, I have to say. I love him and I want him not to be doing that. And So I want to say that I think we both have saved each other. I'm not going to say we don't like a glass of wine. You know, I'm Irish and Greek, so you got to have a little shot of whiskey. But he has been, absolutely doing nothing. There is nothing. And I think some of his friends, some people don't like that he's been clean, which is beyond me.
It changes, he's lived this lifestyle for so long,
Yeah.
and I'm sure, you still surround yourself with those people. You're in that business, you surround yourself with those people, and they still want you to go the same way you've always gone.
Absolutely.
And
Right. So, I'm going to say it with a joke. He has told me sometimes I'm the Yoko Ono because I got him out of that. Oh, sorry. Got him out of that. But that's not a life,
it's really not. And I know I give him a hard time every once in a while too about some of the things he needs to do to take care of himself, because unfortunately, as we get older, it gets harder and harder. And
Absolutely. The goal is to leave here and one day return to Costa Rica, because that's where my home is. Our home, I want to go back there, and I want them there healthy.
there you go, Andrew. You got to be healthy, brother. And he's going to keep working on it, guys. Miss Karen, thank you so much for taking a couple minutes and chatting about the big guy over here. And are you going to be in Louisiana for when he takes that title off of a Lucha Russian?
Yes, absolutely, I will be. So,
As a matter of fact, she is also performing.
I was going to say one of the proud moments I want to put out there is that I've been taking music lessons for a long time. And I want to shout out to Lori Olak, who is my music teacher, best friend. She's phenomenal. And I've been able to perform the national anthem at these wrestling events. And I'm going to be doing that in Louisiana. And I got to thank her. And I want to put out there, I went to her, Andrew says you're going to sing at one of these events. And I'm like, oh, no big deal. And I go to her and she said, Karen, that is the hardest song ever to sing. And I'm like, great. Don't forget the lyrics either. And practice. And it's been an honor that I can open up a wrestling event singing it. And I'm going to do it in Louisiana. They're going to allow me to do that. And I'm ecstatic and practicing and happy about that.
Listen, if you can hold it up, girl,
Yeah.
be very proud of that. I remember, my favorite singer is Steven Tyler of Aerosmith, and God, he could not carry that anthem whatsoever. I'm sorry, Steven. It was not good. It was not good, but I don't love you any less for that. So awesome that you were able to do it, and that you're good at it as well. I've heard some stuff, and girl, you got some pipes on you.
So.
Well, again, thank you so much for taking some time and hanging out with me here, and thank you, Andrew, for bringing her by and really introducing her to the professional wrestling world.
Absolutely, and I am going to say I still love Mahomes and my Kansas City, so I will.
There you go, Pat. She still got you. Welcome back. Reinforcer Radio is back on the air. We decided to keep Miss Karen on here with us because, like Mustang Mike here said, she definitely improves the picture quality from us two ogres that are sitting in front of you here. But let me introduce the other gentleman on your screen right now. He's been doing this whole professional wrestling thing probably as long as my partner over here.
Yep, over 30 years.
He is from Louisiana. Mustang Mike, how you doing, brother?
What's say, brothers and sister there, Miss Karen. Glad y'all had me on board. And we down here in the South where we get all the hurricanes and storms, and we made through okay with hurricane season. So I'm lucky to be aboard with y'all talking a little bit.
But you got snow.
That was insane. The most combined snowfall in the history of my entire life in one day. So that was pretty crazy. I enjoyed it, but I'm glad it's over with now.
Mike, that was amazing. Craig Massey actually made a snowman and put one of his belts on it on his front lawn, which was pretty funny. And he sent me a photo of it. And he was driving in the snow saying he never saw that much snow in his entire 50-something year life.
Yeah, no, it was insane. But I said it was a nice thing to have, and beautiful. I mean, just beautiful. You see that snow on these, old oak trees and everything down here and all that. But yeah, it's gone, and we move on back to it's back to humidity down here. So it's crazy.
I'm looking forward to the humidity. I miss it. I miss my Louisiana, my Gulf State family, man. I'm glad to be coming back finally.
Oh yeah, they miss you too. So I got a bunch of messages and from fans and asking about you. So it's gonna be a good time, and we both got two big opportunities. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to it.
Now, Mike, who are you facing this weekend?
I am facing Greg Anthony, the world heavyweight champion of the AIWF, and we've got a pretty long past. Andrew knows is just as much as me, but we've had about a 9-year history on when we first started wrestling, all the way back from NWA titles all the way here uh, to the AIWF world title. So I'm looking forward. I've been getting ready and preparing, and it's the physical thing's one thing, but you got to get your mind mentally right for what you have to do, and especially I got a lot of weight on my shoulders because it's in my hometown. So a lot of people are, just expecting it to happen. And, and I want it to happen. I'm going to do everything I can, but, there's always the intangibles in professional wrestling when something don't go the way you want. So just keep my fingers crossed and not.
The last time you worked Greg Anthony.
Yeah, we had a match for Cajun Heat, which is the big show that we have down here in South Louisiana, and we was wrestling. The story back to us before that is we were 1-1. I beat him at the first Cajun Heat for the NWA National Championship, and then the following month I gave him his rematch in Dyersburg, Tennessee, and he beat me. So we were 1-1. So we were finally going to break the tie for the AIWF World's title. And of course, outside interference by, some guys that's been a thorn in my side for a long time. And Andrew knows, and just as well as me, Mad Dog Gill, and come in and interfered in the match and caused the match to be a no contest. So now we're 1-1-1. So this is the ultimate rubber match this Saturday in Morgan City.
Well, I got to say that, with all due respect to Big Ramp and Mad Dog Gill is one of the pound for pound, one of the toughest individuals that I've ever faced in the ring. And from what I've known, he's one of the toughest individuals on the planet.
Oh, he's got a background in MMA. He played rugby. I mean, when you do those two things, those are things that that are not for the faint of heart. And then he's been in professional wrestling for 25 years now. And I know you've wrestled him a handful of times, and I've wrestled him a couple dozen times. And when you finish with a match with him, you take the next day off because it's rough. But like I said, just as well as him being a great competitor, when you fall in the lines of what Big Ramp does, and they do anything it takes to but a win, it's hard when you're fighting against you playing by the rules and they aren't. So,
yep, I agree.
Now, Mike, as you've become a veteran of the sport here, how have you changed your approach to matches as you've gone on in your career?
Well, Andrew can attest to that. As you get older and you've done it, and you've gained a lot of knowledge on what to do and what not to do in matches. And like I said, I don't have the cardio and conditioning that I used to have even 10 years ago. But every match I wrestle and the countless matches that I've been involved in, I get involved in situations where I remember what to do and what not to do. So you try to make as less mistakes as possible and use my wisdom. I'm still in good shape, for my age, but you just use everything that you've learned over the years to be able to capitalize and get the best outcome. So, like I said, I'm still wrestling with guys just like Andrew, just half my age. So, you gotta plan according to what your capabilities are, and sometimes, outthink them.
Yep, we wrestle smart now. So not a lot of high risk maneuvers like in those old days,
Yeah, with Andrew jumping off the top of cages, I don't think he's done that in a while.
No, not for at least 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. It's been about 6 years, and I think it's been about maybe about 8 months since I did a senton off the top rope.
Man, well, how
Well,
long have you known Andrew in the business?
we met in was it 20? What was the first WrestleMania? Was it 13 when it came?
At the Super.
Yeah. So, yeah, we kind of met by chance. He
At the Mid South Fan Fest.
Yeah, they had a Mid South Fan Fest, all the legends from the
Yep.
days down here in Louisiana, and I was from Louisiana, so I was there and ran across the table, and we chatted really briefly, and just kind of, brothers in the business. And then coincidentally, the next day, I was invited to go to a suite at the Superdome, and him and Greg Valentine walk in, and it was like, didn't expect to see each other. And next thing you know, we do what we do, talking about the business and business itself, and talking about, doing some joint ventures together with him up in New Jersey and me down in Louisiana. It's not often we've met thousands of people in our lifetime that we've wrestled with. But from the start, it was just a connection with me and Andrew, and we haven't hung out a lot lately, but he's always been like a brother to me, and we've both done a lot to help each other's career and support each other's career. And I'm just glad he's coming back down here to, be on my side for a huge match. And, not to take away from what I'm doing, he's got a big match himself. He's facing Vladimir Koloff for the GSW Heavyweight Championship, a guy who's been running rampant all over Louisiana, but especially in GSW for over a year and a half.
And I've been hunting that title for a long time. And I
got to get two-time champion.
GSW Louisiana strap. So,
Well, you have a lot of history with that title.
Yep.
Yeah, with the Louisiana title. Yeah, I had that. When did I win that? In 2018?
18, yeah. You held it for over a year. And like I said, it's, it's kind of one of those things where we've, in our age, as many bumps and hits to the head that we forgot about a lot more than we still remember, as far as matches we've had and titles we've won. But, I have every bit of faith in Andrew that he can get the job done. And like I said, this guy is a bull of the woods right now. He's running. He's got like 9 titles all over Southern Louisiana, and he's a hell of a guy. But I'm just glad that when GSW found out that Andrew was coming back, that he deserved a shot, because when he lost the GSW Louisiana title, he never got a rematch. So he deserves to have this shot, and we'll be definitely getting together in the locker room and planning some mutual strategies that we can both utilize.
Absolutely, and I'll be there in your corner if you need, because you know what? Mean and Lean is always on the scene, baby.
That's right. That's another story in itself right there.
For those who are not familiar, Andrew and Mike, they've tag teamed quite a few times. You guys held the straps a few times, right? Together as Lean and Mean?
Yep. We held the GSW straps. We held the what was it? The 225.
225.
We're the only guys to have 2 guys hold the 6-man straps. We beat 3 on a 3-on-2, right?
Yeah. Yep, that's true. We held them for a while, and then we thought we had a third guy that we could count on, and eventually the numbers mounted up on us, and we lost the belts. But it was a good fun run, and we represented Louisiana down here, and even going to Cauliflower Alley and doing things up that way. We've done a lot together, and just as things pull you apart, we've been in different parts of the country, but we've both been doing our own thing. But he's always there with me, even when he's not here.
Family, brother. We've always been.
But yeah, man, a big event this Saturday.
You are my first official guest. You and Karen are my first official guest. Well, Karen's always going to be present, but you are my first official guest on Reinforcer Radio.
Well, I'm honored, man. I know y'all doing some big things, and and I know anything you put your hands on is going to be successful. Yeah, I hope this really takes off and goes forward, and you know, that's what you do. You touch things. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. Yeah, I feel nice talking about wrestling sitting in my recliner, so it's not bad.
I know the feeling.
Well, Mike, really, really appreciate you taking some time and talking a little Gulf State wrestling. Mike is the one of the owners and promoters, correct?
Yeah, I've been back before Gulf State Wrestling was a thing. We had Gulf Coast Wrestling. Me and another partner ran that for about 20 years, and now since 2017, we've had Gulf State Wrestling, and doing some big things down here on the Gulf Coast. We throw some of the bigger shows. Our main show is called Cajun Heat that we have every July. And for independent wrestling, when you draw in 1,000 people, that's big. And a lot of people might not have heard about us because we're not super big on social media and YouTube and all that stuff. We just kind of do our thing quietly, and the fans come support us. But we've had some great names come in. Andrew's done brought in so many people with him. Kevin Sullivan, Rest in Soul, and Greg Valentine, and so many others who come in with Greg. With Andrew, and he knows so many people, man. He's a good guy to have on my side, and he's helped me organize some things and plan some things, with our shows. And then, he had his thing going on up in New Jersey for a while, and we've always just worked well together, as we're friends, but also, use our business sense to make everything work.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that both of us were franchised for the National Wrestling Alliance up until 2018, 2019, I believe. So he had NWA Gulf State and NWA Gulf Coast at the time, and I had NWA Big Apple.
Yeah, I still wear that shirt everywhere, and people, they see it and they like, what's that? I'm like, it's over your head,
Yeah, they don't get it. They don't get it. It was a fun time. It was really a wild time. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you won the national title. You won the North American strap. So you had some great moments there. So you'll always be set in history. And a lot of people didn't know that originally I was supposed to have a few matches with Tim Storm for that final title, because I was chasing Tim Storm around for that belt for quite a while, for quite a number of years. And I think you were too, actually.
Yeah. Well, I know you was next in line, and some things happened with the changeover in NWA when it got bought out and everything, and that kind of put you on the hiatus list. But you were right there. I think you was the guy that was going to make it happen. And then, of course, after Tim ended up losing the NWA title, I ended up finally being able to face him myself, and I'm proud to say I got a win against him, but it wasn't for the title. So, it's nice to have a win against a former NWA world champion,
Absolutely. It's always great. It's always great to have. I mean, and, I also want to talk about somebody else who's always been at your shows and been very prevalent. Two of very good friends of yours and mine, Rod Price, Hardway, California stud, Rod Price. And of course, Big George, the one-man gang.
Yeah. Gang came in and worked my last event that we had down in Louisiana for the Toys for Tots show, and he came in and donated his time and came in and took pictures and autographs. He's right there in Baton Rouge, so it's good to have him. And you still talk to Rod there? I know he's been having some issues going on with. If you talk to him, tell him to come, especially when you coming in, invite him to come to the show. It's not only an hour and a half for him to come Rod in, and I know he's surprised.
To have coming back. It's always great to have to tell the young talent, this is how we do it, right?
No doubt. I mean, like I said, he's done a lot, man. I mean, team with Stone Cold, and before he was Stone Cold, and he's done so much in his career, man. He deserves his accolades, but but yeah, man, we both done a whole lot in our career, and unfortunately, we're at one day going to have to pass the torch down to younger guys, but we still fighting like hell.
Yep, that's what it's all about, man. Preserving our history and history of pro wrestling and transferring our knowledge into the younger talent so that our style, our school of wrestling is not forgotten. And I think a lot of it's coming back because I've always noticed that your shows and like Herb Simmons, SICW, and back when SWE Fury was running, all those shows, people love the hard-hitting, old-school action. They miss that. They long for that.
Well, it's just more realistic, I mean, and with that old school style, with all the new stuff, with the flipping and flying and all that's all got its place in certain shows. But when you got a whole show filled with it, and the crowd can't absorb a story that's being told by a match because something else is happening before you got a chance to absorb what just happened, it leaves a lot out. And it's a show to go see, but it's different when people go and they remember a particular match because a story was told during a show, during a match,
Yeah.
Well, again, these two guys are going to be going head to head for some titles this weekend down in Louisiana, guys. I wish you both the best. Make sure you're careful in the ring because I still need this guy for a few more shows yet. But Mike, thank you so much for coming on and sharing some stories, about pro wrestling and about your time in the business and having to deal with this big guy over here for all these years.
Mike, you were occasionally, more than one time, you were not only my best friend, but you were also my wrangler.
Yeah. We've had quite a few times there. Had to slow him down after a show, and we both won big matches. And next thing you know, you're going to have a drink or two, and next thing you know, it turns into 3 or 4, and I have to put the lasso around him and slow Drew down there.
Now we got Karen. Karen's in charge of it. Karen, the boots.
Yeah.
And every great man is a greater woman with a stiff boot in the ass.
That's right. Yeah, we never got into the plumbing stories and the midget stories and all that stuff, but that might be for another time down the road.
We're gonna have to have one episode with me and you just talking about all the ribs we did to people on the road.
Well, I don't know if we want to admit to some of those.
Well, Mike, you always have an open door here at Reinforcer Radio. Anytime you want to come on, any shows that you ever want to plug, or just come on and talk some stories of pro wrestling, the door is always open for you, man. Again, we really, really appreciate you taking some time here and win that strap this weekend, brother.
Well, we going for it, like I said.
This guy don't stand the chance. Mustang's in his hometown. It's like having home field advantage, and statistics show that when Mike is in Morgan City comes out to support the Mustang. And brother, Mean and Lean are going to be on the scene, and we're taking home some gold, baby.
Well, I hope you're right, my brother, and we both going forward with a positive mindset. We know we're capable of, and like I said, it's hostile territory when you're coming into Morgan City. I mean, that's not only is it Morgan City, it's my alma mater high school. So, he's got a double whammy. He's coming to fight against, and even though Greg's a great guy and want to give him all the props because he didn't have to take this match and he did. Okay. I had another phone call. I guess that's tickets. I'll have to call them back. But no, whenever y'all there?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay. Yeah, they keep calling. They won tickets. That's good. They heard Andrew Anderson's coming. But no, to give Greg props, he didn't have to take this match, man, and he did. And much props to him for giving me this opportunity, and the AIWF for giving me this opportunity. And I'm gonna try to make the most of it, and like I said, Andrew will be going for a big belt himself, so we're gonna go for a double gold and then go out and have a double shot.
You got it, baby. And Mean and Lean take home the gold.
All right.
Kitty. So we got to have a Mean and Lean tag team reunion eventually down the road before I call it quits. You are definitely the mayor of Morgan City, brother. You are the best promoter out there right now in Louisiana. I love you.
Love y'all, man. Take care. We'll see you Saturday. Boom.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Mustang Mike, Reinforcer Radio. This Saturday, February 15th, Gulf State Championship Wrestling in Louisiana and Morgan City. The lovely Miss Karen and myself will be there going for, correct me if I'm wrong, it is the Gulf State Heavyweight Top Championship.
It is.
And Mustang Mike is going for the AIWF World Heavyweight Top. So we're going out there full steam ahead and going out to kick some ass and take some name. Maybe have a few cups of Reinforcer coffee from JaniceCoffeeRoasters.com. Check it out. Jeff, you want to bring it in home?
Well, I told you we were doing a segment every time, so I'm going to ask you this
Go ahead.
about Kevin.
Yeah.
What was the biggest impact that Kevin had in your career?
The biggest impact that Kevin had on my career. Kevin, I wrestled on 5 continents with Kevin. So besides getting me booked all over the world, the biggest impact to me was when Florida Championship Wrestling from Florida was brought back in 2021. In 2021, Championship Wrestling from Florida came back, and they booked me to work with Kevin Sullivan to wrestle tournament for the Florida heavyweight title. And it was the legacy belt that goes back to Eddie Graham's Championship Wrestling from Florida. And I won that belt with Kevin Sullivan by my side over Romeo Cavato, the Cuban Heist. It was a great match, great show, great crowd. And to celebrate that title victory with Kevin Sullivan at my side, the guys that were in that locker room, Gangrel, Ricky Santana, Fidel Sierra, Billy Silverman, Bob Cook, Al Jeffries, the list goes on and on. All the great talent that has been in Florida from the years. It was just so freaking, it was a proud moment. I mean, it was, people will arguably say, well, it wasn't the same thing because Eddie Graham's not alive, Championship Wrestling Florida, but to have that Florida belt with Kevin in my corner meant the world to me, a belt that he held. And that, to me, that will always be, one of the crowning moments of my career because it was with Kevin.
Very nice, man. That's awesome. And I'm glad Kevin could be there for you. Well, once again, thank you to Mustang Mike from Gulf State Wrestling for taking some time out. I'm sorry he had a little bit of some technical difficulties calling us in there, living in the old swamps down there in Louisiana.
He is the mayor.
So, but thank you, Mike, so much for taking that time. The Reinforcer and the lovely Miss Karen are going to be down there this weekend to take the strap off of the Luchadorian Russian, Vladimir Koloff. But Andrew, anything left to say to the people this week?
Well, listen, all I got to tell you is this. I am looking forward to upcoming shows. I'm not retiring anytime soon. I am retiring, just not anytime soon. It's on the horizon. When, I will definitely break the news here on Reinforcer Radio. But more importantly, I want to thank everybody who listened to the inaugural episode. Thank you for clicking on it, for making us hit that top mark. We were really are shocked and happy with all the, what would the word be? The
Support.
The support from our constituency, our fans, our friends, our wrestling community, and outside the wrestling community, because this show will not only focus on pro wrestling, it will focus on collecting, it will focus on music, actors, actresses, wrestlers, also musicians, rock stars. It's going to have a little bit of everything in it. So Reinforcer Radio is just like me, the Reinforcer Andrew Anderson. I'm a mixed bag of treats. You never know what you're going to get when you reach into it.
Awesome. Thank you guys for checking out Reinforcer Radio for our second episode Who knows what we got coming down the pike? So please click on it, like it, share it out, subscribe to it, tell your friends all about it. And again, thank you so much for the support already. We'll catch you next time.
Rock and roll.